Hi, my name is Laura, and I'm going to be doing the proposition speech for this round. With that said, my time shall begin now. Resolve: this House believes that nation states have an obligation to unconditionally allow entry for legal refugees. Economic growth can lead to higher living standards because if GDP rises, it brings more money into the domestic economy. This means that businesses can make more profit and hire people with higher wages. Because of this, the percentage framework for the round will be the team that provides warranted impactful evidence explaining how allowing the entry of legal refugees would increase economic stability and improve human development for all individuals in the long term should win this round. Definitions: according to the UN, the core principle is non-refoulement, which asserts that a refugee should not be returned to the country where they face serious threats to their life or freedom. Human development is defined as the process of enlarging people's freedom and opportunities while improving their well-being. First, I'm going to go into the legal obligation and then to the impact. So international law is a moral obligation of nation states and a legal one. Customary international law is an aspect of international law which primary source is custom, along with general principles of laws and treaties. Custom is considered by the International Court of Justice, United Nations, and its member states to be among the primary source of international law, which means that if you do not allow entry for legal refugees, you're breaking this law. Thus, you do have a legal obligation to provide refugees home and space for their own freedom and opportunities. Now into the main contention is economy. So point one, economic prosperity. According to the OECD, refugees can also contribute to development by providing skills and resources and spurring production capacity and consumption demand. It is therefore important to complement the short-term humanitarian responses to refugee crisis with more long-term development-oriented responses to strengthen the positive impacts in the economy by refugees. In 2016, the Trump administration limited annual refugee admissions for fiscal year 2018 at just 45,000. This meant that the current gap on refugee admissions not only diminishes humanitarian impacts of U.S. resettlement efforts, but also results in the economic loss of economic benefits that refugees provide. So point two, entrepreneurship. In addition to seeking employment, many refugees also ought to start their own businesses. Refugees, in fact, have high entrepreneurship rates than the U.S.-born population and the foreign-born population. In 2015, over 181,000 refugee entrepreneurs generated $4.6 billion in business income. This business provides jobs, goods, and services for thousands of Americans. In fact, new businesses account for nearly all new net job creation. In addition to thousands of refugee-owned small businesses around the United States, several refugee-created businesses are among the most well-known companies in the U.S., including Google, WhatsApp, and PayPal. The entrepreneurship spirit displayed by many refugees sends a clear signal about their willingness to work and contribute to local economies. So point three, local economies. In 2015, refugees possessed $56.3 billion in disposable income that could be spent at businesses in their community, making local businesses stronger. Refugees initially start out at low income levels, but then escalate to better income. This growth in household income over time is reflective of the refugee community's propensity to invest in human capital. A number of analyses by researchers attest to the value of economic contribution by refugees. One study found that in Southeast Michigan, refugees were responsible in 2016 for $229 million in economic activity and for creating 1,000 to 2,000 jobs. This includes refugee entrepreneurs whose businesses generated $70 million to $90 million in economic benefits. In 2013, refugees in Akron held $23 million in household spending power and paid over $3 million state local taxes. Akron refugees also contributed $3.6 million to Social Security and $800,000 to Medicare. They work hard, start their own businesses, and spend money in local economies and help struggling communities. Income growth clearly strikes as one of the main contributors to directly increasing the capabilities of individuals and consequently the human development of a nation, since it encapsulates the economy's demand over resources, which means, judge, that in order for the economy's prosperity and the human development to thrive, you need to vote pro. Thank you.